Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let's discuss the one of the most fundamental principles of object-oriented programming, that is polymorphism. So what is polymorphism? As the name suggests, polymorphism, like a thing can have multiple forms. Okay? Like suppose a function can have multiple forms. Okay? Suppose uh you know suppose a same class suppose a same class is having same method that can have different implementations, okay, depending on the implementing classes. Okay, so we will check that. Okay, so first we will discuss two types of polymorphism, that is method overloading or compile time polymorphism. The other one is method overriding, that is runtime polymorphism. Okay, so you understand it. Method overloading is compile time, method overriding is runtime. Okay, so let's first look into method overloading. So what is method overloading? It simply allows you to define multiple functions in the same class with the same name but different parameter list. Okay, like different types, numbers or order of parameters. Okay, so let's jump in the code, and we will see that how we can implement it. Okay, okay, so let's jump in. Suppose I write a class called, suppose, calculator. Okay, and in the calculator I write functions like add. Okay, and we define two integers here. Let's take a and b. Okay, and let's give a return type as int, and let's return a plus b. Okay, now let's write another method, that is add, but let's change the type. Okay, let's change the type of a and b to double. Okay, and let's give a return type of double as well. Okay, now let's return the same thing, but it will be returned as a double. Okay, so as you can see, the name is same, two function names are same, but the parameter are different. One is having integer, another one is having double. Okay, now let's another one with the same name and take a parameter more. Okay, suppose a int, b int, suppose we take c as well. Okay, and let's take the return type as int. Let's do a return of a plus b plus c. So see, this is what a real polymorphism looks like. That is, a class is having a same method called add and having three different kind of implementations with the different kind of parameters. Okay, suppose, how will we call it? So whenever we call it, we create an instance of the class, suppose calculator, and let's make the instance of that class, that is calculator. Okay, now suppose I want to call the first method. Okay, that is the calculator dot add method, and we are giving 10, b is giving 20, 15. Okay, why this is coming as error? We will must be initialized. Okay, it has been, okay, sorry, my mistake. Now let's call the second one, that is calculator dot add, and take it as the other one. Suppose we take it as 10.5, 11.5. Okay, so as you can see, we have defined the parameters as double. That's why you are able to see that it is in use, because it is being called. This one has not been used yet because this function is never used, as you can see. But this function got used because it checks in the compile time itself that if you provide the parameters as double arguments, it will call the double argument one. Okay. Now let's call the last one, that is calculator dot add, and let's take 1, 2, and 3. See, this is got called because in the compile time it checked that A, B, and C has been provided for these three methods. Which one is having A, B, and C? Or I mean, the three arguments, these two have two arguments, right? This one is having three arguments. In those cases, it will automatically call this. So if I run this, you will be able to see we are able to call the name with the same function, but with different parameters and different parameter types. That's the main intention of having compile time polymorphism. Okay. So let's see how it works. Yep. As you can see, it has worked, right? So we are clear with the method overloading. Now let's check what is method overriding. So method overriding in Kotlin allows you allows a subclass to provide a specific implementation for a method defined in the superclass. Okay, so there would be a parent-child relationship from superclass to subclass. Okay, so in the previous video, you have already checked what we need for that a parent and child relationship. So you should have an inheritance, right? If that inheritance, you can do that via open class. Okay, suppose you declare this class as, suppose I'm taking the previous example only. Okay, let's take animal. Okay, and now take function sound. Okay, and I am giving generic sound. Okay, let's minimize it. Okay, now suppose I have a class dog. Okay, and I am extending animal, but you won't be able to extend it because it is not open. It will see, it will check make animal open. So you will need to make that class open in order to override it. Okay, this is where the override comes. This is a runtime polymorphism. So whenever you're overriding it, what you need is you need to make the classes, you need to make the function as open. So if you do that, you will be able to see the it has been done. And instead of writing this, we will write println. That is, we will be changing it to bark. Okay. So this is how a parent-child relationship has been confirmed. And as you can see, this is how the override method works. It will not be able to check what is going to call in the runtime because we have not initialized it yet. Okay, suppose I call this well, and I take an animal. Okay, and I create an instance of animal. Now I call the animal dot sound. What will you get? You will get is generic sound, right? Now, if you create an instance of a child class, in that case, what will happen is, suppose I create a val dog. Okay, and for this one, I just checked this. Suppose I create an animal, and suppose I create a dog. Okay, now what will this dog do? This will this will override it with bark. Okay, see, so this is how you define whenever you are going for a runtime check and you want to call that overridden method. In those cases, you provide like that. Like you create an instance of that class and give that return type, I mean the extension class as animal, and you create an instance of dog. In that case, you will be able to override that. Okay, so these are very important concepts. Always remember the main difference between these two because these are very important interview questions that is being asked. Okay, so the first thing is the definition. So if you are asking, if somebody is asking you for a definition, always remember method overloading is same method, same name. and different parameters. In case of method overriding, it's redefine the method in a subclass. Okay. If you are thinking about in a relationship perspective, it will always be in the same class for the method overloading. That is, inside the calculator class, you have multiple things. But in case of overriding, you will always have a parent-child relationship between superclass and the subclass. Okay. And always remember that method overloading takes it happens in the compile time, because in the compile time you will be able to check that what kind of parameters are being passed so that the relevant method is being called. Okay. But in case of runtime polymorphism, what happens is you create an instance of that class and you're calling the same method. With until and unless it has been initialized, the compiler won't be able to tell that which sound method to call, whether it has been an instance of the same class or it has been overridden. You are trying to call the overridden method. Suppose the dog has its, some of its own, some of as it dog has some other methods. Okay, so whenever you create an instance of dog, it will be able to call that the methods that you have defined in the dog. But whenever you are going for an overridden stuff, in those cases you have to create an instance of the animal class, so that you would be that the compiler will be able to understand, okay, this has been initialized in the runtime, so I'll be able to call the overridden method. Okay, so this is the basic concepts of method overloading and method overriding we need to understand, because these are very important concepts and generally asked in the interview. Okay, so if you are able to explain this to properly to an interviewer, there are high chances the interviewer will be impressed. Okay, so uh, I think we have covered most of the relevant topics for this video. We have checked how we do overloading, what are the relevant keywords. I think you have got an idea that how to use overloading, when to use, and how to use. So that's it for today's video. If you have learned something from this video, like this video, subscribe the channel, and share the video, and comment that what would you like to learn in the next videos. For the time being, bye. Happy coding. Thank you.